Launch of National Health Insurance Scheme for Papua New Guineans. Vaccination against polio set to begin this week in Hela province. And NCDC Dragons defeat Taurama Magpies to claim HEVEA CUP.
This is National MTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Sunday's news. Public servants who are on sick leave for long periods end up staying away from work and do not contribute to the development of Papua New Guinea. This was part of the message by Minister for Public Service, Elias Kapavore, at the launch of the National Health Insurance Scheme last night. The insurance scheme targets government workers, statutory employees, business houses and members of parliament. It will be facilitated by PNG Health Assurance Company Limited, a member of AXA Insurance, the largest insurance company in the world, providing alternative healthcare systems for Papua New Guineans. Patricia KOMO with the details.
Public Health Assurance Company Limited is backed by the largest insurance company in the world, AXA Insurance, and offers a number of benefits to its members. PHA Specialist Advisor Raj Juta says a benefit of the insurance is the cashless policy, where members don't have to pay cash when getting treatment.
Our insurance scheme is cashless, meaning that once you pay your premium, you will be able to go to your doctor or your clinics or your hospitals and you don't have to pay cash. You are treated. Secondly, is that it also provides for funeral benefit and cover as well. So that's another very important, between 10,000 and 20,000. And the other important aspect of it is that if you don't have any claims within 2 years, you get 15% back of your money you put into it.
Apart from the cashless policy, PHA also provide for overseas treatment in the instance where treatment cannot be received in the country. When asked how PHA will reach out to rural areas, Specialist Ras Juta says they will reach the rural areas through infrastructure development by donating 5% of their profits to hospitals and clinics.
This policy is for all Papua New Guineans. Even if you earn 300 kina per fortnight, you'll be able to take this and you'll get an annual limit of 30,000 cover. So it is based on salary ranges. But even a person earning at 300 kina per fortnight is covered.
The rollout program for the health insurance will start with public servants, followed by individuals and private sector on a later date. Guest speaker at the launch, Public Service Minister Elias Kapavore stressed on the health of public servants in the country and the rate that people are dying of lifestyle diseases.
We have up to 120,000 public servants. And about a good number of these presidents are actually on sick leave. They are on sick or paid sick leaves at the moment, and this is actually contributing to the unproductivity and poor performance in the workforce today. And many of us are complaining how and why our public sector or public service is not performing well, because I believe many, as I speak, on actually paid sick leaves. They are sick, but they are on paid sick leaves.
Also raising concerns on the well-being of public servants was the Minister for Finance, James Marape.
The two would like to ensure that we move a step further so that we have a real insurance program for all our public service. We don't want public servants, I beg your pardon, we don't want to lose them very early on.
Patricia KOMO, National MTV News.
Community health workers in KOMO LLG in Hela province will start collecting statistics of children who will be vaccinated against the polio virus. This will take 2 days and the team is preparing to roll out vaccination beginning Wednesday this week. Team leader of the polio campaign in KOMO, Charles Tiamai, says health workers from the 3 health centers in KOMO will be working together to ensure all children are vaccinated in this round.
The campaign for the 4th polio vaccination for children under 15 years old in KOMO has gone far and wide. Health workers at KOMO are expecting a good turnout when they start the 4th vaccination round come Wednesday. The vaccination will cover children in the Heights 4 area, KOMO, Para and Juni communities.
Mipla sem team leader, mipla triple housing, mipla ibung wantem wan plahausik long kangulu o mananda lo side long KOMO wan plahausik long para inside lo heights foyet na nar plahausik long alain long juni M3 plahausik combine osem na working awareness program long mosem na by start lo Monday mi pla quality logistics no vediste mi pla goet Polio round mi pla round 4 mi pla inside lo Hela mi pla heights for lo KOMO Magreba district mi pla spedi mosem.
The polio outbreak in Papua New Guinea was first recorded in 2018, with 26 cases reported, including the death of a 9-month-old baby. This comes after 18 years of free polio in Papua New Guinea. Since last year, the World Health Organization and Global Polio Eradication Initiative have teamed up with the national and provincial health authorities to control the outbreak. The aim is to vaccinate 3.5 million children in Papua New Guinea against the polio virus.
Finish round 1, we play working round 2, round 3. Plenty community in Salongia only looking importance blood isla. Na danger blong polio, suppose polio come up inside how bad and by affecting. Community been amamas through long attend lo display, bianim awareness pro mi pla. Na time mi pla go lo give him this all same, plenty through mi pla win him through percentage mark lo mi pla. Percentage pro country 95%. Mi pla must reach him 95% so that mi pla by fit inside long all levels inside lo provincial level.
For Hela province, the villages are scattered away from each other. Thus, the success of the polio campaign depends largely on how far the awareness goes.
All health inside mi pla sana plong ya, batem health mi pla sta plong ya. Maki mau say me like giving big pla mablo awareness go outside long manmeri inside lo KOMO Magreba district inside lo Hela province even Papua New Guinea as well. Me like talk strong through all same polio and one plastic. Mi pla bin gadis la polio free lo Papua New Guinea 10 years ago. Na biano disla em only been declaring finish polio no do Papua New Guinea. But then after all, mi pla kira mo some polio come again no Papua New Guinea. And mi soy mo sem work level mi pla inside lo facility maybe mi pla no keep up good whatever routine immunization program lo mi pla. That's why mi pla opim gap long all plenty all plastic we mi go finish long em come again. Mi appeal through lo Papua New Guinea. Polio mo pla dangerous sick. You must try best long bungi man holy man watem gen na continue fight of this disease where the terminal can come again. And must go forever.
Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The signing of the PNG LNG Ministerial Declaration for PDL 1 and 7 brings resource owners in Hela one step closer to accessing their royalty and equity payments. Millions of kina accumulated since the LNG production commenced in 2014 will be paid to landowners once the ministerial declaration is gazetted and block leaders elected to PDLs 1 and 7. The payments are expected to be released through the Mineral Resources Development Company towards the middle of this year. Our reporter Tekla Gunga was in Hela and files this report.
A government delegation consisting of parliamentarians and ExxonMobil staff visited landowners in Hides 4 and Juni, where the ministerial statement was signed by Petroleum Minister Fabian Pock.
Hides 4 line PDL 1. Me talk once again, all the man you stop, you must get sun or rain, all the leaders of PDL 7. All the DP, MRNDC representative, all police, army, Mibla come signature, come Mibla signing because of hard work. If we party man, all the leaders want them, all the government officials take part on this land.
The statement signifies the conclusion of the landowner beneficiaries identification process or lobbied exercise, which outlines the rightful landowners, either in the affected or impacted communities along the LNG site. It also marks the start of the process towards electing directors in the various blocks in both PDL 1 and 7, who will be tasked to collect payments through MRDC.
Honorable Minister, na governor yumi na the leaders of Papua New Guinea mito honsen. Oh, kata Papua grana wala kisi money. Thank you.
28 days have been given to the resource owners to go through the signed ministerial declaration and resolve any queries amongst themselves before they can vote for their block leaders. Come 8th of April, and if there are no major queries, MRDC and election officers will conduct the election of block leaders and open accounts so payments can be processed. These payments are in millions of kina, and it has taken over 4 years to reach this step. Much of the delay has been because of court disputes over who the legitimate landowners are, and Minister Pock urged all landowners to work together so their equity will be paid sooner rather than later. Gunga, National EMTV News.
The Papua New Guinea Defence Force 1st Royal Pacific Island Regiment will commemorate its 68th anniversary tomorrow. It will be a low-key celebration culminating with the trooping of the regimental colours, an important piece of history that members of the 1st Battalion highly value, carefully guard and treat with respect. The trooping of the colour remains an annual tradition for the 1st Battalion. For this year, it will take place at the St. John Chapel at the 1RPIR base at Taurama. You're with National EMTV News this Sunday. Among stories after the break, the Vinewood University's 37th graduation and plans to set up a rice board to manage the importation and production of rice in the country. Stay tuned for the details. Welcome back to the news. It was a proud moment for Glenda Nale, a primary school teacher who graduated with a Bachelor in Education from the Divine Word University in Madang today. Mrs. Nale currently teaches at Goldie River Primary in the Karukuhiri district of Central Province and has completed her bachelor's program through the Faculty of Flexible Learning. Mrs. Nale is amongst hundreds of others who put on the green gown to receive their degrees and diplomas today. The head bishop of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in PNG, Reverend Jack Urame, also graduated with a doctorate in philosophy. Reverend Urame becomes the 7th PhD graduate since doctoral studies were introduced at Divine Word 15 years ago. With an estimated 200 million kina spent on the importation and production of rice in Papua New Guinea, there are now plans to establish a commodity board for this crop that is already a staple for people across the country. According to Agriculture Minister Benny Allen, with a move by government to complete appointments to boards of various major agriculture commodities, discussions have also commenced on the establishment of a rice board. This comes at a time when several large-scale rice projects are being planned in different parts of the country.
Another new board that we are looking at is the rice board, because we're talking about growing rice and replacing imports and food security in the country. We want to have a new board in place, so that's something we are working on. We don't have anything and any discussion on it, but it's in the pipeline. We are going to have a rice board in place. We have also a policy already, rice policy, but we want to have a board that will manage the industry. It's a big industry, and we need to have a board to manage the affairs of rice industry.
Transparency International PNG was in the Eastern Highlands Province last week to run a legal aid outreach to encourage people to report corruption. Based in Goroka, they encouraged the people to report corruption to its Advocacy and Legal Advice Centre. TIPNG also held a public information session to inform individuals of the new anti-corruption legislation known as the Independent Commission Against Corruption. The ICAC is intended to be an independent constitutional body that will have powers to investigate, arrest and prosecute cases of corruption in both the public and private sector, working alongside existing law enforcement agencies. Successfully implementing the ICAC is a promise the PNG government made in 2007 when it endorsed the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. The second public awareness session on ICAC will be held in Madang at the end of this month and another in Port Moresby in April. The landowners of Arona Valley in Yonki, Eastern Highlands Province, where the $3 billion new Ramutu hydropower project is located, are calling on the national government to start the landowner engagement and discussion on the project. One Incorporated Land Group Chairman, Arnold Yokio, says excess feasibility studies with PNG Power Limited were made in November 2011. However, the delay of project commencement is with the Lands Department. The 4 ILG chairmen of Arona Valley are now calling on the government to work with them and commence the project as scheduled.
I don't see any land issues. Land issues has been solved already. And then now all the chairmen team up ready long starting project with the government. But I don't see that the government officers only put him in plenty ILGs that is bringing plenty blockades, that's why. And then now me appeal government, national government and the provincial government, the Obura Wanenara district and the Guinean district come together as one, like bring him starting impact project block country, which will boost up the economy block country. And then mipla like mipla lenonas mipla failure block by only mapchla one failure stop government the lands departments which only accumulating plenty ILGs plenty landowner groups coming along this step in the process block mipla. That's why that mipla representing just 4 ILGs.
The two-day HEVEA Cup Carnival ended on a high note. Spectators had the chance to visit the Health and Wellness Expo, as well as enjoy entertaining rugby league in all celebration of women's issues and participation in sport in a healthy and safe environment.
The two-day HEVEA Cup Carnival saw around 2,000 people enter the gates of the Oil Satch National Football Stadium. The Rugby League 9's tournament coincided with a Health and Wellness Expo, which addressed women's health issues. Founder of the Grasscat Project and organizer of the carnival, Tahina Booth, excited about the turnout.
Huge 2 days, and we're just incredibly humbled with the support that Papua New Guinea has given us. So we hope to run more of these HEVEA Cups over the country.
The last day of the two-day carnival saw prize giveaways, a race by spectators for prizes. Brian Bell also gave away 30,000 kina worth of prizes for lucky winners who entered using the HEVEA passport. Among the prizes, shopping vouchers, cooking appliances and TV sets.
50-inch TV and 2,000 kina to be spent in Brian Bell.
The day ended with the HEVEA Cup presented to the winning teams. No prize money, but the teams playing to celebrate women's participation in rugby league. The 24 teams also keeping their new jerseys donated by the HEVEA Cup.
No, we're not about prize money. We're about coming together and playing fair. HEVEA Cup is about education. It's about women coming together and men supporting women. International Women's Day, should be every single day because we want men to respect women.
Tahina is willing to bring the tournament outside of Port Moresby and is open for suggestions.
Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You'll find us under Grasscat Project. If you want this to be in your hometown, let us know.
Helen HEVEA Booth, which the cup is named after, the mother of Tahina, was present to hand the winners the winning cup.
So HEVEA did hand over the inaugural HEVEA Cup to the winning team. So she's been here for the whole 2 days watching everyone, saying hello to everybody. She absolutely loved it and wants to be there for all the other ones.
Fidelis Sugina, National EMTV News.
And we'll bring you the final match of the HEVEA Cup in Trukai Sports. But up next, we'll take a look at stories making headlines overseas. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Turning overseas now, the threat of flooding has residents of a West Coast tourist town in New Zealand calling for help. They have been waiting for years for a solution in rising river levels with no answers.
Next to the tourist town of Franz Josef runs the Waiho River. It's picturesque but untamed.
We can get a huge volume of rain, it roars. So the real risk is it comes in and it floods properties, puts property and lives at risk.
In 2016, that power was on full display, forcing the evacuation of nearly 200 and costing millions in property damage. That threat hasn't passed.
We need to do something now. We need to be proactive.
For close to 12 years, this ratepayers group say they've been asking the regional council for a solution, even offering to foot the bill.
We're not asking for any money, we're just asking to spend our money to protect our assets.
And every time they've tried to make an application to extend rock walls or build rock walls, they get turned down.
Since the flood, the only major action was a wall ordered by the District Council, which has since come under fire by the Auditor General's office for not following process.
There have been 3 floods since that day. 2 of them would have wiped the ponds out if we hadn't built the wall.
The Regional Council was unavailable for an interview, but the Chief Executive says the ratepayers group's proposals go against expert advice and could put more pressure on the river. They say the best bet is to build up the existing rock walls, and they want central government to help with a long-term solution, which hasn't given any peace to this group.
We can't just keep building the stop banks into infinity into the air. That doesn't actually solve the problem. It just buys you a very short amount of time. Or we need the gravel moved somewhere.
To fix a mounting problem before it's too late.
Thousands of Venezuelans are flooding the streets of the capital, Caracas. Some of the groups are out showing their support for President Nicolas Maduro, while thousands of others are protesting his regime and calling for Maduro to step down. This all comes as the country slowly recovers from a massive power outage covering most of the country.
Another tense day on the streets of Caracas and throughout Venezuela as there were dueling protests and rallies on the streets of Caracas. Of course, the opposition had gathered in multiple points around the city, but really stymied at every turn by the National Guard. There were some skirmishes, but indeed it did remain peaceful. And that was really surprising, given that we are still dealing with rolling blackouts throughout the city, throughout this country. That means that people are dealing without electricity, but also without water. Very difficult to get food. Any food they did have in their refrigerator was spoiling. You got no sense of that at the government rally. Protesters and people who were protesting the U.S. government there told me that, look, they want the Trump administration to get out of their business here in Venezuela, and kept chanting, "Yankee, go home." President Maduro took on the same tone when he spoke to the crowds, but he did promise that there would be some kind of aid coming after this blackout, perhaps early next week. For his part, Juan Guaido spoke in front of the crowd, but it did seem a little bit disorganized, and I can tell you, I saw them, tens of thousands of people were even unable to hear him. I want you to listen to this woman now who feels that more forceful action should be taken. Take a listen.
The only way we could get out of this, people, is by confrontation. We don't expect the U.S. or any other country. Venezuelans have to get out and fight for Venezuela. What dictatorship has got out peacefully? You tell me one.
Opposition protesters promised to be out on the streets again Sunday, but really things remain tense, especially as people continue to try and cope with what is a profound and unprecedented blackout that is really trying for anyone trying to just make it through another day.
Britain is scheduled to leave the European Union on the 29th of this month. However, if no deal is reached, the future of Brexit is uncertain.
Britain wants to know what's on the cards for Brexit. With only 3 weeks to go, the outcome is now cloudier than ever, as the future of Brits and business hangs in the balance.
And may I put it to her that because she's hardly Mystic Meg when it comes to understanding the will of this place, that it would be a good thing for her to do.
There is a large amount of crystal ball gazing, a gamble which could cost growth and jobs.
Now, I don't know if he was Mystic Meg or a prophet, but there is a great fear among many, many people that what he described all that time ago is exactly what is happening.
Next week brings hope of clarity, as lawmakers will finally get another say on what course the UK will take. Theresa May will bring her deal back for a second time after it faced a crushing defeat of 230 votes. With politicians and experts none the wiser to the outcome, we turn to a more unscientific way of reading the future.
What are the chances that Theresa May's deal passes next week?
Let's have a look and see what the cards are indicating. Well, it doesn't look like the deal is going to go through. You've got the Groundhog Day card here, the Knight of Wands reversed. You've got the Sun reversed, which is unhappiness, this shadow over the situation. And Judgment upright is a card of a clean slate or a transformation, a milestone.
If her deal does not succeed, May has warned Parliament the future will be even more uncertain.
Back it, and the UK will leave the European Union. Reject it, and no one knows what will happen.
It appears to be suggesting with the cards that we're not leaving the EU on the 29th. There isn't going to be another referendum, and yet there's a delay in terms of trying to renegotiate. There seems to be contradictions with the previous cards' indication, so I'm very confused by these cards.
Well, it sounds like Brexit.
Yes.
So what is on the cards for Theresa May? Will her deal pass? It's expected to be defeated, but by a less humiliating margin than last time. So how about a no deal? That's unlikely because it's already been rejected by Parliament. So what about an extension? That is the least controversial, but it might put options like a second referendum or even a softer Brexit back on the table.
With so many unknowns and variables, only one thing is for certain. Brexit is now impossible to predict.
R. Kelly was released from jail on Saturday for the second time in less than a month. The singer still faces sex abuse charges, but his latest lockup stems from allegations that he owed more than $160 in child support. It's not clear who paid the money to have him released. In Chicago, Kelly thanked his fans, while his lawyer shot back at his accusers.
Went to jail for the second time in 2 weeks. This time, a judge saying he failed to pay more than $160,000 in child support. His first stint in jail this year occurred after being charged with 10 counts of aggravated sexual abuse against 4 women, 3 of whom prosecutors say were minors at the time of the alleged abuse. He responded to those charges, telling CBS's Gayle King everyone making the accusations is lying.
So they're lying on you. That's your explanation. They're lying on you.
Absolutely.
You feel that people have maligned your character?
I have been assassinated. I have been buried alive. But I'm alive.
Kelly also responded to numerous abuse accusations from his ex-wife, former girlfriends, and people who worked for him in the 6-part docuseries Surviving R. Kelly that aired in January.
I'd just like you to know that you really hurt me. I was a little girl in like a bad man's world.
Quit hurting people. Quit hurting these girls. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. Y'all, I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me.
Kelly also talked about his relationship with women now, saying he has 2 live-in girlfriends, Joycelyn Savage and Azriel Clary. Their parents have accused Kelly of brainwashing, abusing, and separating their daughters from their families. But the girls attacked their parents' claims.
Both our parents are basically out here to trying to get money and scam.
Clary accused her parents of trying to blackmail Kelly by getting her to take naked photos with him. The next day, Azriel Clary's father denied his daughter's allegations alongside his attorney, Michael Avenatti.
I'm angry. I'm hurt. That's not my daughter. The woman she had become now is like robotic.
Angelo Clary says he and his wife are scared for their daughter's well-being and just want her home safe.
Mr. Clary, what is your greatest concern for your daughter right now?
I really don't even want to speak it in existence, but I think everybody knows from we able to speak hypothetically on her current situation when she tried to commit suicide.
It's just speechless to hear that saying that we would sell our kids. That's unheard of.
All of the pain, confusion, worry, and accusations playing out in the public eye.
Many of us dream of making a true change when we retire, but one New South Wales couple has taken the concept to a whole new level. 20 years ago, forest research scientist Brian Myers set about finding the perfect block or land for a plantation. He and his wife have now grown almost 800 trees, many of them rare or endangered, at the 8-hectare property on the far south coast of New South Wales.
Having a collection of trees is like having a number of children, because your children are all different personalities, and so are the trees. You've given them birth, and then they've had to be shaped and strongly protected. One thing I enjoy now is I can come out into the shade of the trees that I planted. I germinated the seed, and now I can sit in their shade.
When we started out and Brian said he was going to plant an arboretum, I didn't really have a sense of quite how big it was going to be and how all-consuming it is. But, you know, you get swept up in Brian's passion. You can't help it.
We have growing now around 750, 800 different trees of about 550 species. Collecting trees is a disease. You can't stop. This is one of the first trees that we planted, Bunya pine, Araucaria bidwillii. This is a Himalayan blue pine, Pinus wallichiana. Aleppo pine, Mexican weeping pine. This tree is so rare it doesn't even have a common name, so it just goes by its Latin name, Platycaria, from China.
Trees are pretty magical. I love the majesty of them, the filtered light that comes through. My favourite thing to do is to mow. It became obvious that we both needed our own mowers, so I've got a little zero turn so I can zip around the trees and Brian can do the broad acre type mowing.
It's so satisfying, giving new life, watching seeds germinate and grow into little seedlings, and then maybe 18 months later you finally plant them out in the soil. That's the satisfaction. It's a lot of pleasure, and so you can't stop.
I think it's a great thing we're doing. And in the early days, it used to be his arboretum. But these days, it's our arboretum.
You're with Sunday's News. We go for a break now. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with Rugby League, and in the HEVEA CUP, NCDC Dragons won the HEVEA CUP in the women's tournament, while in the men's it was Taurama Magpies. The tournament had 12 men's and women's teams participating. All the teams in the cup got to keep their new sets of jerseys.
The HEVEA Cup 9s tournament held its finals in rainy conditions. The rain didn't stop the game, which continued into the night past 6 p.m. The men's final saw the Taurama Magpies defeat the Papua Panthers 18 points to 10. The Magpies, popular in the 9s format in the southern region, once again proved their style of play was entertaining and supreme. The team was handed the cup by Helen HEVEA Booth, which the cup is named after the mother of founder Tahina Booth. The main game was the women's final between NCDC Dragons and the Papua Panthers. The game was entertaining despite the team playing in dark conditions. It was a close encounter, the Dragons' experience and skill ensuring a 14 points to 12 win over the Panthers. The Dragons celebrating the inaugural cup win. The Dragons captain Carol Humeyu, who also captains the national team, the Orchids, commended the tournament, which showcased women's rugby league.
And I thank the HEVEA Cup for winning this tournament and to bring all the ladies together and to the number of women's rugby league this year 2019, and it will increase up Thank you to HEVEA Basket Project for running this HEVEA Cup.
She also saw some promising talent that featured women from PNG-RFL affiliated leagues in the nation's capital.
Plenty of talent, most ladies, especially the outside ones, and to the Pom Rugby League girls. There's so many talented players, and I know this year competition will be very tough for all the ladies in Pom Rugby League and other affiliated PNG-RFL like CPL and Central League.
Amelia Cook, Orchids and Brisbane Broncos player, was excited to see the level of talent displayed by the women.
The raw talent that all the women have here, and just to see the talent coming through, and this is a pathway that we're trying to set up for the future, and it was a fantastic day yesterday and an even better day today, and the rain caught us there, but it slowed down at the right time to get a good grand final hit out, and I think a few big names were in those both teams to go against each other, so it was just a great showcase of women's footy.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
In the first for Rugby League in the National Capital District, the Vipers Development Academy will be set up for young age children 10 to 15. The program, to be supported by the NCD Governor's Office, will involve current Vipers players from the POM-RFL competition visiting schools and communities. The visits will help young Rugby League enthusiasts to follow the game through development programs on offer.
It was at the Vipers selection trials that Operations Manager Paul Comboy made mention that Vipers management will create a development academy for young children from 10 to 15 years of age. Comboy says the program will target school children and in particular children who are roaming the streets of Port Moresby. Not only is the program set to teach the basics and development aspects of rugby league, but also with the aim to identify and develop talents that can one day play for the Vipers or the KOMO side. Comboy added that changing the mindset at an early age is the way forward, and at the same time engaging the young generation to get involved in sports and learning how to stay fit and healthy. The development program will be organized during school holidays and conducted by current Vipers players. The program is expected to get financial backing from NCD Governor's Office. Parents and individuals interested to get their children involved in the Vipers Development Academy program can request at City Hall for Paul Comboy to get information on how to register your young ones. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
And don't go anywhere. Trukai Sports will continue after these messages with updates on cricket, Super Rugby and football. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To some sport abroad now, and in cricket, the second test between the Black Caps and Bangladesh in Wellington saw play finally start on day 3, with the rain clouds clearing to reveal what looked like a batsman's nightmare and a pitch as green as the outfield.
Pitches don't come much more bowler-friendly than this Basin Reserve one, so winning the toss and letting fly on the green monster was a no-brainer for the Black Caps. But after amassing 200 runs in the first test, Bangladesh opener Tamim Iqbal unfurled another full array of attacking strokes.
Yeah, and a cover drive of superb quality.
Nothing was working for the pace attack as the tourists charged along at a run-a-minute rate. Finally, Shadman Islam nicked one, ending a 75-run opening stand. After being caned in his opening over, Wagner thought he had struck.
Yeah, changed his decision to not out.
He did the very next ball as Mominul Haque's poor series continued, and incredibly, the same thing happened in his next over. A great finish to a very ordinary Black Cap start to the first session on day 3.
He's backed it up twice.
And it got even better after lunch, as Bangladesh lost Tamim and then the middle order century makers from the first test.
Oh, again, straight up. BJ Watling's going to get another, is he? Yes.
It's in the air and out.
It took more than 5 hours, but Trent Boult finally claimed a wicket, make that 2 in the same over. Bangladesh losing its last 8 wickets for just 92 runs, all out for 211. But the Black Caps openers didn't last long.
There's that drive caught, short cover.
And it was left to Ross Taylor to take the initiative before rain intervened again.
In Super Rugby, another week and another disappointment have been dispatched by the Crusaders in Super Rugby. Their record run now stands at 19 wins in a row after stumping the downtrodden Chiefs 57-28. At the other end of the table, the Blues will be happy just to score their first win.
An emotional week for the Blues was capped off by a moment's silence for teammate Mike Tamoiata. And almost in tribute to a large man with twinkle toes, Rieko Ioane put on a moving masterclass.
The penalty advantage for the scrum.
On the back of a strong scrum, the overall performance was hardly vintage, but the winless Blues needed to score points. Ioane's third perfect execution.
Another second man play, Milan in the noise, and Mark on the left side, Rieko Ioane.
He becomes the 18th player in Super history to score 4 in a game and the 4th Blues player to do so. Possibly the 4 easiest finishes of his young career. The Blues 28-20. They now have the bye and a run of home games with that much-needed victory on the board. The Crusaders went on a home rampage against the Chiefs with a late cameo from All Blacks hooker Cody Taylor.
More brilliant handling, and Cody Taylor is in for the try.
It was an exciting week. We had a lot of guys get an opportunity for a first time, but they'd earned that opportunity. You saw the talent that was on show, and some of the individual skill sets from those men was awesome.
The best attack in the competition, flogging the worst defence, 57-28. The Crusaders should be given a tougher test by the Highlanders next week.
The Football and the Wellington Phoenix have posted their highest ever score in a record-equalling match to rocket them to 4th on the A-League football ladder. It helped that the Knicks were playing far and away the worst team in the competition, the Central Coast Mariners, who have sacked their coach after the 8-2 drubbing.
A soft own goal proved a pointer of what was to unfold, as the Wellington Phoenix had the perfect opportunity to grab its first win on the road in 2 months against a leaky Mariners side, which had only tasted victory once this season.
Pulls the trigger! It's 3! And the record books are shaking!
The Phoenix should have had 4 goals in the first half an hour, actually 5, and Roy Krishna could have had his first hat-trick. A great ball from Max Burgess gave Krishna another chance to nail his double, his 14th goal of the season, equal best in the A-League, and just 2 behind Jeremy Brockie's club record haul of 6 years ago.
4! What a half!
A perfect platform then for teenager Liberato Kakache to grab his first A-League goal. The home side was desperate to stop him getting another, but the Mariners were all at sea against the outstanding Sarpreet Singh. He then turned provider as the Phoenix hit a record high.
Instead, it's Fenton! It's 7!
With still half an hour to play, there was a real chance of a new A-League record. Most goals in a match. 11. Phoenix boss Mark Rudan wasn't impressed, but the fans were, despite Krishna missing yet again.
Oh, he's missed it! He's missed the chance at his hat-trick.
No chance of Singh doing that, though. Just a pity Killian Sheridan didn't back himself.
This is for all the records.
So it ended at 8-2.
There's no limit to where we can get to, and I think the boys are hungry for more, so we're ready.
Surely making it even harder for the coach to leave, while his Mariners counterpart was shown the door.
And that ends Trukai Sports for this evening. We go for a break and be back with the weather details for the next 24 hours. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
I'll look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Thundery showers in all the major centres. Port Moresby, Daru, Kerma, Alotau and Popondetta with a top temperature of 32 degrees and a minimum of 24. To the Momasa region, rain and thunderstorms expected in Lae with a top of 32, a top of 27 and rain and thunderstorms in Wau. Some showers expected in Madang, Wewak and Vanimo with a top of 32 degrees. To the New Guinea Islands region, Lorangau, Kavieng and Buka can expect some showers and thunderstorms, rain, showers and thunderstorms expected in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe. And in the Highlands region, the major centres Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundia, Wat Mendi and Wabeg can all expect thundery showers with early morning fog developing.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's the news, sport and weather today, Sunday, the 10th of March 2019. On behalf of the EMTV News team right around the country, have a pleasant working week. Good night.